What is up, UDK Sports Talk family and Mets Nation? Today I wanted to come on here and react to the Mets game that happened last night, in which our New York Mets lost to the LA Dodgers by a score of 2-1. Now, coming into this game, you understood what it was. It was going to be a pitching duel. You had two of the game's premier pitchers in Nolan McLain and Yamamoto going up against one another, and they both lived up to the hype. Yamamoto retired well over 20 plus, almost went 8 innings strong against the Mets, and Nolan McLain retired well over 12 plus and was absolutely filthy. Both pitchers, fastballs in the upper 90s, a ridiculous amount of movement on their all speed. Yamamoto with that splitter, which is filthy, and McLain with the sweeper that looks like he's throwing a wiffle ball. You got it advertised yesterday. And early on, the way you get to these pitchers, man, you got to get them early. You got to get them when they make mistakes. And yesterday, man, as much as we could talk about Nolan McLain being an extreme positive for the Mets, Francisco Lindor leading off the game with a home run, man, he needed that in the worst way. And when he jumped on Yamamoto early, I said, oh, man, listen, if the Mets could get it turned around, just get enough run support, they have a chance to win this game. But ultimately, the Dodgers responded with a productive out by Freddie Freeman. But ultimately, man, they had good at-bats. They were able to get on, and they had the hits. Well, they got enough hits to beat us. And it was crazy because the Mets ended up with 4 hits total in this game and only 1 run. And the Dodgers only ended up with 3 hits and 2 runs. But, you know, ultimately, that's how baseball is, man. But I don't have the stats in front of me, so I'm not going to read them off. But Francisco Lindor ended up the game 2 for 4 yesterday. And in my opinion, if you're a Mets fan, you want to see this trend in the right direction, man. Francisco Lindor has been struggling to start off the season. He has started off really cold and has even had mental blurs in the field and on the base pass. So for him to get the leadoff home run, to get that big hit late, and ultimately, man, listen, the Mets had opportunities. And that is the difference between a team that has it clicking right now and a team that's in a rut right now. The Dodgers didn't hit more than the New York Mets yesterday. But guess what happened? When they had the opportunities, they cashed in on them twice. One with a productive out by Freddie Freeman, and the second time, a bloop single by Kyle Tucker that the exit velo was like 56 miles an hour off the bat. But that's how baseball is, man. Baseball gives and baseball takes. And when you're in a rut, it gets maximized. And yesterday, the Dodgers capitalized on their opportunities. The Mets didn't. The Mets had Bo Bichette on second base. They got out the inning. The Mets have runners on first and third. Carson Bench had the big hit. Francisco Lindor has the single. They take out Yamamoto. Big time decision by Dave Roberts. I felt like that was one of those decisions that could have went either way. And he decided to go with the fresh arm and Trident, who, as all of you know, man, he has an absolutely filthy sweeper. And he gets the big strikeout, man, on Luis Roberts. And that's ultimately how this game turned down. And Vesia comes in the last inning and closes the deal, man. And we look non-competitive in our at-bats that inning. But ultimately, man, I would say this, some positive takeaways. The Mets lost 2-1, but I'm not going to sit here and say, like, that's the silver lining. No, Nolan McLain has now proven himself to be a bona fide superstar in the MLB. He is a top 3 pitcher in the game. It looks like the Mets have their ace for years to come. And the second takeaway is that Francisco Lindor has now started to get it going with the bat. And ultimately, this is what I believe needs to happen with the New York Mets. I believe that when Juan Soto gets back, he needs to go to the leadoff spot, and I will put Francisco Lindor behind him. I think it'll help Lindor out a lot, and I think it will help with getting runners on base and getting Juan Soto more at-bats, man. But that's all I got for you guys. Another unfortunate loss for the New York Mets in which they did not come through. This is now 7 in a row in which they've lost. There's a lot of people panicking. I would say this, man, that's just how it is in baseball sometimes. Sometimes you get the bounces and sometimes you don't. And right now, the Mets are in a slump in which they're not only hitting the ball hard at people, but they're also not getting the bounces as well. And that's ultimately what leads to a prolonged losing streak. But I think that if they continue to play this way, because, man, listen, when you get the opportunities, you have to cash in on them. But if these opportunities continue to present themselves, eventually they're going to cash in, and you just need to hope that your guys come through. You know, one last thing I want to touch on before I get up and out of here is the Jorge Polanco contract, man. As of right now, ultimately, this man was supposed to be the replacement for Pete Alonso, and obviously we knew we were going to use a committee approach to replace the production from Pete Alonso. But Jorge Polanco, man, I know he has the Achilles injury, but when you signed him to, 20 mil a season, you were expecting a certain level of production from him. And it looks like that Achilles injury is really hampering his ability at the plate and on the field. And that's why right now they're going with Mark Vientos, because Mark Vientos is a better defensive player than Jorge Polanco. But my thing is, when you're paying somebody 20 plus mil, you need them to cash in. You got to look comfortable at the dish. You have to get base hits. And you have to hit the ball out the park, especially for him being a 4/5 hitter that he is for this team. And I'm really disappointed with the results on Jorge Polanco right now. And I do want to be fair to him. I do want to say that, listen, he does have an injury, and that's probably what's leading up to him not being as effective. But listen, man, at this rate, it's going to be an absolute abysmal contract if he does not start performing. Because if he doesn't start performing, you're not getting any type of offensive production, and you're not getting any defensive production. You have him on contract for 2 more seasons after this. Man, talk about when it rains, it pours for the New York Mets. But that's all I got for you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and sub to the channel. Check off the bell notification icon to become part of the family. And as all of you know, as a Mets fan, I always keep the faith, and I believe that this team is going to turn it around. They just have the talent to do so, man. It's just a matter of them playing up to their capabilities. If they do it, they should have no reasoning in them not being able to get to that level that I envision for the New York Mets. But ultimately, it's a collaborative effort, and they got to do better, man. They got to do better. They have to have more competitive at-bats. Listen, how many games is this in a row, man? Not manufacturing a run. I mean, this one they scored 1, and that was on the Lindor leadoff home run to start the game. 4 hits again. How many games are we going to go with 3, 4 hits, 0 runs? You can't win like that, man. You have to play complementary baseball, which means that you have to hit and you have to pitch. You know what's a sign of a bad team? When the hitting is going good, the pitching is bad. When the pitching is going good, the hitting is going bad. That's not how you win in the MLB, man. We need our Mets to start getting it together, man. But have a great day, you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.